It began one late spring evening. The windows were open, letting in a warm breeze, and the gentle hum of the ceiling fan filled the quiet that had settled between us. I perched on the edge of the bed, scrolling through my phone, pretending not to notice Lily lying on her side, her back to me as always. That space between us, both physical and emotional, had grown heavier than any silence. For months, maybe even years, I've been the one reaching out, trying to anchor us, to remind her that we were more than just two people under the same roof paying bills. Lately, though, every attempt I made was met with a sigh, a shift away from me, or her saying she was tired. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Then, slowly, the thought crept in that maybe it was me. That night, I leaned in and pressed a kiss to her shoulder. She muttered without looking back, "Ethan, stop. Not tonight." I froze, staring at her silhouette in the dim light. "Always not tonight. Lily, do you even care anymore?" Her reply was a quiet, bitter laugh. "You sound pathetic, Ethan, begging for attention. Maybe if you acted like a man instead of whining all the time, I'd feel something." Her words cut deeper than I expected. I sat there, chest tightening, wanting to shout, to defend myself, to remind her of all the years I'd stood by her, through career changes, depression, everything. But I stayed silent because, in that moment, I realized I had been pleading for love, for validation, for scraps of her attention. The next morning, she moved as if nothing had happened, brewing coffee, humming softly, even asking if I wanted breakfast. Watching her glide through the kitchen like she hadn't just ripped me apart was a turning point. A quiet voice inside whispered that I was done. I didn't announce it, didn't confront her. I just stopped reaching out, stopped hoping she'd change, stopped asking for affection. I threw myself into work, got back to the gym, started reading at night instead of waiting for her. And eventually she noticed. "Why are you so quiet lately?" she asked one evening, tinged with curiosity. I offered a small smile. "Just tired, I guess." What I meant was, I'm tired of being the only one who cares. It marked the start of the end, though neither of us realized how quickly things would shift. Days became weeks, and my silence started to unsettle her more than my previous pleas ever had. She glanced at me across the dinner table, waiting for me to start talking, but I remained still, calmly eating. The man who once begged for her love was gone. In his place was someone she didn't recognize, someone who no longer revolved around her moods. At first, she brushed it off, but soon I saw her testing the waters. "Want to watch something together tonight, or go to bed early again?" she asked, her tone guarded, trying to understand what had changed. The real turning point arrived one Saturday at her friend's birthday party. I hadn't wanted to go, but she insisted, tugging my arm with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. I relented. The room was crowded, laughter spilling through the low music. I hovered near the bar, nursing a drink, while she mingled. I overheard one of her friends, a tall brunette named Claire, teasing her. "So how's Ethan these days? Still all over you?" Lily laughed, sharp and cruel. "Oh, please. He used to beg for intimacy. Now he's probably sulking somewhere." The word stung, but instead of anger, clarity washed over me. I realized I had been a character in her story she could mock at will. But now, that story no longer had power over me. Minutes later, she found me, and I set my glass down. "Ready to go?" I asked calmly. She blinked, startled. But the night just started. "For you, maybe," I said, meeting her gaze. "For me, it's over." She frowned. "What does that mean?" I didn't explain. I just walked out. That night, for the first time in months, I slept in peace. No anger, no sadness, just calm. The next morning, I packed a bag and drove to my brother's place. When Lily called, I ignored it. Her text came later, confused, frustrated, desperate. "Ethan, what's going on? Are you really leaving over something stupid? Can we talk?" I didn't respond. For once, silence spoke louder than words. It wasn't revenge, it was freedom. 3 days later, I returned home for a few things. She sat on the couch in a robe, eyes swollen and red. Gone was the pride and anger. She looked lost. "Ethan," she whispered, "where have you been?" I didn't answer immediately. I passed her, heading to the bedroom, just grabbing my stuff. I said flatly. She followed, voice shaking. "You're not really leaving, are you?" I said terrible things, but I didn't mean them. I was angry. I turned to her. "No, Lily, you meant them. Every word, for months. You made me feel small, unwanted, pathetic. And worst of all, I believed you." Her lips trembled. "Ethan, please don't do this. I messed up. I know I did." I sighed. "It's not one night or one comment. It's every night I try to love you, and you made me feel like a burden. You mocked me to your friends. Called me weak for wanting connection. I'm done begging for something that should have been ours." Tears streamed down her face. She reached for my arm, but I stepped back. "I never thought you'd actually walk away," she whispered. "That's the thing," I said softly. "Neither did I." I left that day. She didn't chase me, but a week later, messages arrived, long, remorseful, filled with regret. "I can't stop thinking about you. I hate myself for what I said. Can we try again?" I didn't answer most of them. I'd started living differently, running every morning, reconnecting with friends, smiling again. I'd found peace in the silence I once feared. Months later, she sent one final message. "You were right. I treated you like a fool because I didn't realize what I'd already lost." I stared, then deleted it, not out of anger, but for closure. I had learned something essential. When you stop begging for love, you make space for self-respect. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge isn't fury or payback. It's peace. She once mocked me for begging for intimacy, but now she was reaching for something that no longer existed.